Hey there, all you wild and crazy fifth graders in Ms. Ziegler's science class. Mr. Yarber here to give you a rundown. Now, Little Bird came and saw me the other day and said, you know what? Ms. Ziegler's class been talking about animal and plant cells. So today I decided let's talk about those major differences between the two cells. Now, in the background, I've got some nice little plants growing just to kind of give you a perspective, because a lot of the major differences we're going to see are actually inside of those plant cells. But first, let's talk about the similarities. Now, in animal and plant cells, both of them have what's called a nucleus. Now, I'm going to show you a animal cell. Okay, the nucleus, which is right here, is basically like the daggum. It's the brain of the whole operation. It's the brain of the cell. Now, inside of those cells, we also have what's called mitochondria. Mitochondria produce cell energy from food. Okay, now this is where your mitochondria is going to get a little bit different whenever we get to plant cells, because animal cells use food for energy, just like the human body, food for energy, but plants use, what's that? Right, sunlight for energy. So we're going to talk about that in just a second once we get to the plant cell. Both cells also have what's called a cell membrane, which protects the cell. Okay, it helps keep everything kind of together. Without that cell membrane, the nucleus, the mitochondria, the cytoplasm, all that stuff would just kind of open out into space and spread away. It wouldn't be nice and contained. Then they also have what's called cytoplasm. Cytoplasm helps at breaking down waste and actually providing shape to the cell. Now let's talk about the key differences. Whenever we talk about the key differences of the animal cell versus the plant cell, well, first off, your plant cell, let's go ahead and state the obvious. If you look at this, the plant cell has a rectangular shape. It can also be larger than the animal cell can. Okay, it can also be larger. Now, the major differences that are inside this cell right here, remember a second ago I told you animals use food, cell, to get energy. Well, plants use sunlight. Okay, sunlight give energy to the plants. Now, the chloroplast is actually what takes the sunlight and converts it to energy. Now, that's also a very scientific name known as photosynthesis. Whenever that plant actually gets that sunlight and converts it to energy. All that takes place right here in the chloroplast inside the plant cell. Crazy, crazy. Now, all that takes place. Now, what's inside the chloroplast is this thing known as chlorophyll, which actually absorbs that sunlight and converts it to energy. Another kicker to the chloroplast is also what gives the plant its green color. Now, another major difference, and if we look right here at this, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but right here, let's see, we got it highlighted. The chloroplast, these little green things floating around this cell. That's your chloroplast. Now, another difference the plant cell has is, that's right, a cell wall. Okay, a cell wall. Now, a cell wall is a rigid wall surrounding the cell membrane. It provides stability and protection for the cell. Now, if you look right here real quick, this green line right here is our cell wall. It provides that extra protection to the cell. Animal cells don't have a cell wall. They just have the cell membrane. But the plant cells have the cell wall surrounding the cell membrane. Extra protection. We also then have what's called a vacuole. Okay, now a vacuole is mainly a space filler, but it can also help with digestion of the plant. Digestive functions. It can also store nutrients inside the vacuole. Now, I hope you enjoyed this brief comparison. I didn't want to make this one too long. And shout out today, I got to give it to Miss Ziegler. Okay, Miss Ziegler, a.k.a. Ziegler the Worm. Miss Ziegler is notorious. She's an awesome dance move known as the worm. And since we're talking about animals and plants and all this kind of stuff, give Miss Ziegler one time, say, hey, Miss Ziegler, show us how you do the worm. She's better at it than me. I can guarantee you that. This is Mr. Yarber. I hope you enjoyed it.